Let's talk about your data for a second. All those photos, documents, emails you save to the cloud. Where is it? It kind of feels like it's everywhere and nowhere all at once, right? Well, that feeling, that's the starting point for one of the biggest legal puzzles of our time. Welcome to the cloud's legal paradox.
So I'm going to ask you again directly, where does your data really live? And if you're thinking, oh, it's on a server in Virginia or in a data center in Frankfurt, well, that's just a tiny piece of a way more complicated puzzle. Because in the cloud, data moves at the speed of light. It's replicated, it's shared across continents in a blink.
And right there, that's where it all gets messy. Because while your data is living this borderless global life, the laws that are supposed to govern it, they're totally stuck in the physical world. And this creates, well, a legal nightmare. It's this huge disconnect between our tech and our legal systems.
This whole mess has a name. It's called the jurisdictional paradox. And it's basically a new legal battleground where these super fast global data flows are constantly clashing with old school territorial laws. And right now, technology is winning that race by a long shot. So here's the bottom line, the absolute key point. Data doesn't care about borders anymore, but laws absolutely still do. Think about it. A single query on a platform like Snowflake or Databricks can zip through data centers in 3 different countries before you even see the result. That's incredible for business, but it is a massive headache for anyone trying to stay compliant. And right at the heart of this conflict, you've got these 2 legal heavyweights going head to head, the United States Cloud Act and the EU's GDPR. And they have completely different philosophies about who actually controls your data.
Okay, so here's how it breaks down. The US Cloud Act says jurisdiction follows the company. So if you're a US company, US law follows you and your data everywhere you go, period. But the EU's GDPR says jurisdiction follows the individual. So if it's an EU citizen's data, EU law protects it, no matter where in the world that data happens to be. You can already see the problem, can't you?
Let's zoom in on the Cloud Act for a sec. To put it simply, it gives US law enforcement the power to demand data from American tech companies, even if that data is physically sitting on a server in, say, Dublin or Berlin. The key word here is control, not location. If they control it, they have to hand it over. All right, now on the other side of the ring, you've got GDPR. This law sees personal data as a fundamental human right, like an extension of the person themselves. It strictly forbids moving that data outside the EU unless the country it's going to has equally strong privacy laws. And it flat out says you can't just hand over data because some foreign government demands it. And this is the collision point. The Cloud Act's default position is basically access unless forbidden, all for national security. GDPR's default is protect unless authorized, all for individual privacy. So if you're a US company operating in Europe, you are legally required to do 2 completely opposite things at the exact same time. It's an impossible situation. And believe me, this isn't just some abstract debate for lawyers. It's a real-world legal catch-22 that global companies face every single day. Let's walk through a couple of scenarios so you can see what I mean. First up, the classic case. We'll call it the transatlantic subpoena. This is where the conflict gets really, really clear. So imagine you're a US tech company. You're doing the right thing. You're hosting all your European customer data locally, inside a data center in Frankfurt. But then, boom, US law enforcement hits you with a Cloud Act warrant. The Cloud Act says you must disclose the data, but GDPR says that disclosure is totally illegal. You're in a legal double bind. Comply with the US and you face millions in fines in the EU. Comply with the EU and you face penalties back home. There's literally no way to win. But it gets even sneakier. The conflict isn't always triggered by some dramatic subpoena. Sometimes it's completely invisible, baked right into the architecture of the cloud itself. Okay, check this out. Your engineering team, just trying to make your service faster, enables cross-region data replication from Amsterdam to Virginia. It's a totally standard technical decision to reduce lag. But in that one instant, without a single human making a conscious choice, terabytes of protected European data have just been illegally transferred to the US. An act of performance optimization has just become a massive compliance violation. It's an automated design flaw. So, if our manual processes are failing us, and even our standard engineering practices are a huge risk, what's the solution? Well, you have to fight code with code. We have to start embedding legal reasoning directly into the cloud itself.
This is the idea of compliance as code. And this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. To escape the binary trap of disclosure versus violation, compliance itself must become code. So instead of having lawyers read through pages of regulations, you have algorithms executing those regulations instantly. The system itself becomes the compliance officer. So what does that actually look like? Well, it's this multi-layered AI-driven architecture. First, the system automatically discovers and classifies data. It figures out, hey, is this personal data? Does it come from the EU? Next, an AI engine analyzes all the rules, GDPR, Cloud Act, and decides what needs to happen in real time. Then, based on that decision, it instantly enforces controls, like blocking a transfer or applying special encryption. And finally, it logs every single thing, creating a perfect audit trail and constantly learning to get smarter. And you can probably guess what's at the heart of this whole system: AI. It's basically acting as a digital referee. We're literally teaching machines to understand and respect these incredibly complex human concepts like borders, consent, and due process, all at the speed of the cloud. And this chart shows exactly why AI is so essential. A traditional legal review by a human, that can take days, maybe even weeks. But a cloud auction, like that data replication we talked about, that happens in milliseconds. There is a massive latency mismatch. Humans are just too slow. When law meets latency, latency wins every time. Only a machine can operate at machine speed.
And this is the real game changer. This kind of system turns the law from a dense 500-page document into a simple, real-time signal. Instead of text, the system gets a go, a stop, or an encrypt command for every single action. It translates all that legal tension into a measurable, immediate feedback loop.
And this isn't just some sci-fi concept. This is a real engineering problem with real measurable goals. The target accuracy rate for the AI to correctly identify where data comes from and what laws apply is over 98%. It's about turning that fuzzy legal ambiguity into cold, hard mathematical precision. And the payoff here is huge. This leads to what you could call predictive governance, where the system stops violations before they can even happen. It creates a universal language of trust that partners and regulators can actually understand. And most importantly, it means that sovereignty and legal controls are built into the system by design, not just bolted on as an afterthought. This isn't just about avoiding fines. This is about building a competitive advantage on a foundation of real digital trust. Which leaves us with one final, pretty profound question. This whole challenge isn't just about data and laws anymore. It's really about the future of governance itself. Can we as a society successfully teach our most powerful technologies to respect our most important human values, things like borders, consent, and due process? Because the answer to that question is going to define the future of our digital world.